Hey guys, I'm David Mitchell, founder and CEO of TRADEway. What if God himself gave you a blueprint for how to handle your money? Well, the Bible is a practical book. Let's dive in and see what it has to say about wealth, about risk, about leverage, and about investing, and uncover how trading in the stock market can be a powerful tool for moving towards your biggest goals. We're so happy you're here. This is The Word on Investing. Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about why is DIY trading different than day trading. Now, if you're my age or older, you don't have a clue what DIY means. It means do it yourself, okay? So why is TRADEway's DIY trading different than day trading? Well, let's talk about what day trading is first. And then I'll show you the contrast. I don't believe in day trading. Well, yeah, I do believe in it. It exists. I know it's out there. I don't believe it's good. And here's why. When you go out there and you look at who you're competing with when you're day trading, you are competing with a person called a market maker. Now, these individuals happen to be the most brilliant, quickest-minded, highest skill set oriented trader in the world. All right. And they work for the major stock exchanges. And they do this every day. They eat, breathe, and drink this trading. And they have amazing skill sets. For example, think about this. What if you wanted to buy some Apple stock because you just flat know it's going to go up? Why would that market maker sell you the stock? Shouldn't he be on the buying end? Think about that. If he's going to sell you stock and you get it right, and you should have been buying the stock, doesn't he take a loss on that? Because you think the stock's going to go up or you wouldn't have bought it. Well, what if it does go up and he sold you stock? Didn't he take a hit? Think about that. Well, he does take a hit. So how does he overcome that? Because he knows how to hedge. He knows how to buy other commodities or currencies or stocks or options or futures to offset the loss he knows he's going to make, and he knows how to do arbitrage. So, I mean, he knows how to do everything there is to do, and he just offsets every trade. Plus, he makes the bid-ask spread every time you buy or sell something. So it's like he gets to buy the stocks at wholesale, mark them up a little bit, and sell them to you, and that's called the bid-ask spread. It's only a few cents, but multiply that by millions and millions of shares, hundreds of millions of shares traded per day. That's another way they make money. So they're brilliant people, and you're not going to beat them. Now, what is a day trade? A day trade, the definition is you buy a stock, for example. It could be anything. It could be futures, commodities. It could be stock options. Let's just call it a stock. You buy a stock and you sell it the same business day while the market hours are open. All right. So you buy a stock at 9 o'clock Central Time, you sell it at 2 p.m. Central Time on the same day. That is a day trade. Now, these people that day trade, they're taught to do this online. They're all these classes. And I'm going to be honest, a lot of people that teach day trading, they read 3 books on it and became an expert, and they're teaching you how to day trade. And I'll bet that if you could take a look and see if they actually are making money, they probably are, but they're losing about the same. And if you look at that over about a 3-year to 5-year period, they're probably breaking even at best, because the market makers are beating the day traders. And that's not only because of the enormous skill sets that the market makers have, but they also get the news before the day traders get the news. And day trading is based on news. It's based on rumors. Now, in Wall Street, it's not the same as a rumor at church. Like at church, a rumor is something, usually a lie that's told as if it's true about a person that you don't like, right? By the way, the Holy Spirit hates that. Just throw that in. And then, but in Wall Street, rumor doesn't mean that. In Wall Street, rumor is a true event that the market maker finds out about before you find out about it. And so it's called a rumor. It's actually news. It's just they get the news before, anywhere from a few seconds to 10 minutes to even 20 minutes before you get it, they get it. So how are you going to beat them at day trading when day trading is based on news? You see, day trading, you don't need to know the fundamentals of the company. You don't need to know the technical analysis. All you need to know is the news, and they have the news faster. So that's like gambling at a casino. The house is going to beat you. I don't believe in day trading. All right. I think you get my drift. But listen, if you just take it beyond one day, even to a 2-day trade, now I don't prefer 2-day trades, but we actually teach several strategies where you can get your money in and out of the market in 24 hours to 48 hours. There are some strategies that are built that way, and those are okay. But the average trade, I would think that we do, especially in step 1 or step 2 of TRADEway system, they last about 2 to 3 weeks for an up play and maybe 3 or 4 days for a down play where you'd make money with puts when the market goes down. Oh yeah, you can do that. Check out some of the other episodes if you don't know about that. But so think about this. You want your trade to last more than a business day. And if you just do that, all of a sudden you need 3 legs on the trading table. Now, there's a great past episode to check out too. What does that mean? Well, at TRADEway, we teach this system. It's like a table with 3 legs. And you need all 3 legs before you do a trade. You need fundamental analysis, technical analysis, market tone. Fundamentals is how great is the company, how great are their products, how great is their leadership. Technicals is what kind of movements does this stock need to make, and is it repeatable, reliable, and so forth. And then market tone is, well, how does the overall news, economic news and world news, is it kind of pushing my trade to do better faster, or is it holding it back? And those are the 3 things you need to know about. Now, you don't even use any of that for day trading. It's just news, and you don't get it soon enough. So that won't work. But if you go beyond a day and your trade lasts an average of, say, 2 or 3 weeks, 2 or 3 days to 2 or 3 weeks, all of a sudden now you need all 3 legs, and you can get those skill sets at TRADEway. I'll tell you what, one of the best programs that we have, and it's a membership program called the Insider Plus. There are no prerequisites for it. You don't need to know anything to get involved with that. In fact, most students start knowing nothing, and they grow from there to learn how to create a trading business, bring your kids and grandkids in, teach them the skill sets, and have a family business out of trading. And with Insider Plus, you can get started today. All you got to do is go out to TRADEway.com and sign up for this program, and it's amazing. It has everything from business principles from the Bible to stock market strategies, option strategies, and starts to teach you all kinds of ideas that will just open your mind to what God has put on the shelf for you. And there's a lot of stuff on the shelf you don't know about, and God already put it there to benefit His children. So check out Insider Plus at TRADEway. Now, when we go in here and we're going to stretch our trade out where it lasts longer than a day, so it's no longer day trading, where's the difference there, and why is that working? Why does that have potential where day trading maybe doesn't? Well, first of all, you need the 3 legs on the table. So you're going to learn how to do fundamental analysis. Now, what's cool about it with the Insider Plus program, you're going to gain things like stock baskets that have over 100 of the right kind of growth stocks. Those are the kind you should be trading with as opposed to value stocks. And you won't learn that out there because everybody else mixes them up and doesn't know the difference. You're going to have a big list or a basket full of those stocks that you can choose your own stock from. But the fundamentals have already been done. They have great ratios. They're strong. There's some of the strongest companies in the world, or they wouldn't be on that list. So the Insider Plus program takes care of your stock basket. The whole universe of stocks you should even be looking at is done for you. Secondly, the market tone. That takes, 5 or 10 years to get good at that because you have to trade through bull markets and bear markets and bulls and bears and cycles and understand what the news is doing and what news is important and what news is junk news. How do you know what counts? That takes years, but that's something else with Insider Plus. We're going to do that for you. We're going to send out a market alert, or several in some days, and we're going to tell you exactly what the world news, economic news is doing and how that can affect the trade that you're in. So hugely important. So we take care of 2 of the 3 legs right there through the Insider Plus program. Now, the 3rd leg, the technical analysis, we're going to show you how to be really, really good at that also. And that's the part you need to get really good at. We're going to sort of help you do the other 2 legs. That one is one you're going to do on your own and get great at it. And what is technical analysis? Well, you can take a charting software and you can plot that software will plot the movements of the stock price and the volume, how many shares were traded per day and all of that for you. And so what's interesting about it is that there are human beings behind these events. Think about this. Every individual stock in the world has a certain group of people who trade that stock. Whether they're long-term investors or short-term traders, you still have this certain universe, specific universe of individual people that together they collectively trade this stock. And guess what? It gives it a personality. It gives it the ability to see that out of that universe of people, there are 2 or 3 that own the most stock of anybody, that own millions, maybe hundreds of millions of shares of that particular stock. And those are who we call big boys. Now, the big boys actually can control the direction that the stock goes, and they can do that legally. And it ends up creating patterns that those particular 3 individuals want to create. And why would they collude to do that? Because it's profitable. Imagine that. They're the only 3 people in the world that actually know what that stock's going to do tomorrow. They know the future, what the stock's going to do usually. The only thing that can mess them up is a huge world event they didn't see coming. But on the day-to-day, average day-to-day time periods, they can kind of know what that stock's going to do because they're making it do it. Now, we have a whole lesson on that in TRADEway, and you'll get to that as you go through our program on what makes charting work, but it's fascinating. It's probably my favorite course to teach in the whole TRADEway system. But to suffice it to say this, that you can learn to do things like draw a support and resistance line. A support line is a straight line that goes off the bottoms where those stocks tend to go down and hit a bottom and then bounce up. And you connect 2 or 3 of those bottoms in a straight line. And then you go up above that and you find out 2 or 3 places where it makes tops and it heads down when it gets to that price level. And you draw a line there. Those 2 lines should be parallel. And that's called support and resistance lines. Well, when you learn to do that properly, like we teach you exactly how the big boys draw those lines, and you're looking at the same thing they're looking at. Now, what's interesting about it, once you're looking at the same support and resistance lines that they're using in their business and the same moving averages, which is basically the 20-day and the 50-day moving average. And by the way, in the Insider Plus program, you get the David Mitchell settings where it will set up all your indicators on your charting software just like mine are set up. That saves you literally months of time. So you can be looking at just what the big boys are looking at. Now let's think about this. Who are the big boys? Well, I'm not talking about the CEOs of these huge companies. I'm not even talking about the owners of large companies where they have maybe 3 or 4 major stockholders like William Buffett or somebody like that. I'm not talking about them. The big boys are people who manage mutual funds, hedge funds, insurance companies, or they might be the CFO of a major corporation where they have to invest major amounts of money laying around, the cash that the corporation's not using. Or they might be someone who manages the endowment fund for Baylor University or TCU or SMU. Notice I mentioned all Texas schools there. But like that person has to have enormous skill sets to manage hundreds of millions of dollars. But think about it, they also wield power because they've got that institution's money and they can buy 100,000 shares in a minute of any particular stock. So that's who we call the big boys. And here's what's the truth. It only takes 3 of them to do the same thing on the same day, and they can make a stock turn directions. For example, if they all 3 dump hundreds of millions of shares in the same day of that stock price will turn and go down. If they all 3 choose to buy hundreds of millions of shares the same day, that stock will bounce up and the price will start going higher and higher. So they actually create these patterns that you can see on your charting software. You can see them. And at TRADEway, we teach you all of these easily recognizable patterns that are very common, and stock traders around the world understand these particular patterns. We'll show you what they're called, how to find them, how to use them, and all of that is included in the Insider Plus program too. Your beginning knowledge of how all that works is right there. There are no prerequisites. You can start today. Just go out there to TRADEway.com and start your membership program. It's amazing to get you started. And by the way, that's going to include some free webinars where you've got hundreds of other students. You've got our great TRADEway teachers and speakers and coaches on there with you. Tell me that's not going to help you not put it on the shelf. Or let's put it in the positive. It's going to help you just keep doing this until you get better and better at it rather than just putting it on the shelf and forgetting it. You'll have the motivation you need. You'll have the accountability. And if you're a person who likes to do things in groups, that part of it's going to be great for you. If you like doing stuff on your own, there's so much information where you can do it that way. And that's what I love about trading. It's so flexible. I mean, you could bring all your grown kids in, put them in a room and have a trading business and be together every day if you want to do that. or you can trade all by yourself. So you get to pick who or who not that you trade with. It's a great way to have a business. All right. So now let's go back and think about this. You've got 2 or 3, usually it's about 3 big boys that are jumping into a stock at a particular time, and it causes it to bounce up. Well, when it gets to a certain price point and they've already got their support and resistance lines drawn, they're looking at the same thing you're looking at. When they see it get close to that resistance line, they all 3 begin to sell stock and short stock. Now, what does shorting mean? It means you're selling stock you don't even own. So they sell the stock they own, and then they sell that much more of stock they didn't own. That's called shorting. And now they've dumped twice as many hundreds of millions of shares on the market. Now think about God's laws of supply and demand that are all throughout the scripture. That's where we learned about it from, by the way. And the law of supply and demand is that if all of a sudden the supply gets bigger, but the demand is about the same, the price has to go down. So that stock price begins to move down. And it continues to move down until it gets to the support line where all 3 of them know they're going to jump in and cover their shorts and buy more stock. And when they do that, they're pulling millions and hundreds of millions of shares off the market. So now the supply is lower, but the demand is still the same. So the price has to go up. Now, if you just picture that, that's what makes these stock patterns. It goes up and down, and it makes different patterns because this particular group of big boys do it the same way every time. Why? It's a profit motive. They make money. They make more money shorting on the way down than they make going up. And that's why they like it to go up and down. And that's why you'll never see a stock that just goes straight up. They zigzag up. When they're in a bull market, they trend up, but it goes up and down and up and down and up and down. And these little down movements in an up market are called retracements, and they're normal. And that's a move from the resistance line down to the support line, and then it bounces back up and continues generally moving up. These little retracements are part of it, and it's because they make money on the way up and they make money on the way down. You know why? Because the big boys are trading. They're not buying and holding like they want you to do. All of Wall Street, all of the MBA programs, your mom, your dad, your grandpa, everybody in business school is going to teach you all you can ever do is buy and hold. And yet that's not what the big boys are doing. They're trading. So at TRADEway, we like to show you those same skill sets and get you going where you can benefit your family. And guess what? You can cut out some of those middlemen. You know, those guys that make the same commission when you lose your money as they do when you make your money. You can cut them out, and you have the potential to take care of it yourself. So that is the great thing about TRADEway knowledge. So go out there to TRADEway.com and check out the Insider Plus program. You can join it right now because you don't need any prerequisites. It's going to start you at ground zero, start to give you the skill sets that you need. And guess what? The Bible says when you gain skill sets, now the Bible terms for that are knowledge and understanding. It says that God will then give you the potential to have wealth come into your family, and you can create generational wealth that way, and that's how it's actually done. Anyone that's ever created it, whether they're a Christian or a non-Christian, they went with God's principles rather than against them. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this show. If you did, we'd like to ask you to go out and rate and review it so other like-minded people can find it, and we will see you soon.